When it comes to, hey, Kristen, hey, Stephanie, my day is going fantastic. I just actually went for a walk with a friend, and I just made myself some chocolate chip pancakes. So I'm literally living the life. I'm living the dream. Chocolate chip pancakes used to be one of the biggest trigger foods for me ever. I would be binging on chocolate chip pancakes no matter what time I ate them. If I was home alone, if it was late at night, if I had chocolate chip pancakes, I would always binge. It was the biggest trigger food for me. And I literally would be just so sick. Like I would feel so physically sick after eating just so much, because I had like the all or nothing mentality. I'm like, ooh, this is like a bad trigger food. So I might as well just eat like so much until I'm like physically sick, and then tomorrow is going to be better. And now I'm able to eat chocolate chip pancakes any time of the day, whether it's a Saturday, whether it's a Tuesday afternoon, whether I'm by myself, whether my husband's here, and just not have any desire to binge. And I just want to share that with you guys because this is all going to happen for you as well too when you put in the work to heal your relationship with food. Okay. Thanks, Vienna. Emma said, how can you get binge eating out of your daily routine? So a few things when it comes to ending binge eating. There is the strategy side of things, and then there is the mindset aspect. So when it comes to the strategy, you guys hear me talk all about rewiring your brain. And what I mean by rewiring your brain is you need to practice not giving into your urges. And I know that's like so much easier said than done, but the reason why this is so important is because every single time that you feel that urge, I know it's uncomfortable, I know it's intense, but every time you feel that urge to binge and you don't give in, you are effectively rewiring your brain out of these habitual cycles. Think about how you started binging in the first place. Maybe you've had crazy food rules. Maybe you have been on diets, right? You saw certain foods as good versus bad. So you started having these urges and you're like, oh my God, they're so strong. Like I have to give in. In order to feel relief, in order to feel comfortable, I just have to give in just one more time. And every time you continuously gave into your binge urges, the urges became more intense. They became stronger and stronger and stronger to the point where you feel like you don't have a choice but to give in. So in order for you to break these habitual cycles, you got to reprogram your brain. And every time you don't give in, again, you are weakening those neural pathways in your brain. You're making those your urges less intense. So that's the strategic side. Now, on a more mindset piece, what I work with a lot on my clients is this belief that I can heal my relationship with food. This belief that I can change my thoughts. This belief that I am stronger over my urges. This belief of I can be somebody who trusts myself around food. So often when you don't have a specific result, so maybe right now you are binging and you're feeling out of control with food, and it's so easy to say, well, I don't trust myself. I have no control, because that might be your reality right now. But you can't let your reality right now dictate the thoughts about yourself, because if you tell yourself I'm out of control, you're going to keep binging. If you tell yourself, oh, the urge is so strong, oh my gosh, the urge is so intense, like it's just so strong, like I always have to give in, you're going to let the urge win every single time. Change your thoughts. I am stronger over my urges. I am way more powerful over my binge urges. I am on my way to ending binge eating. I can build up self-trust. I can trust myself, right? It's like when you believe that you can do something, your actions will be in alignment with what it is that you want, aka a binge-free life. Okay? So that's what I would say. Hello, everyone popping on. You can drop your questions. I'm here to answer a few questions. Okay, let's see here. Next question is Mix. I don't know if it's Christine. I think you're from Toronto. That's so cool. Okay, I always find myself breaking away from my healthy diet and crave and binge on chocolates and burgers. Oh, my husband's trying to call me. Every time I'm on a live, I'm like, really? Every time I'm on a live, I'm like, heck. Every time I'm trying to be on a diet and then I crave and binge chocolate, burgers. Is there any way around it? Heck yes, absolutely. Now, so right away, right here, what you just said, I always find myself breaking away from my healthy diet. Right there, I can shift your mindset in 2 seconds. You are trying to be so perfect with this healthy diet that probably doesn't allow you to have chocolate, that doesn't allow you to have burgers and fries, and that's why you're binging on it. So when I used to always be on a diet and I'm like, I need to be healthy and I need to stay perfect on my diet and I can't have chocolate. Well, then every time you have chocolate, you're going to feel like you're doing something bad, but you're not. There could be one person that eats healthy, but also has chocolate here or there. They eat healthy, but they also can go out for burgers. They can have fries, but they also eat healthy and feel really good. Compared to somebody who's trying to be so perfect, who never allows themselves to have burgers or fries or chocolate, and then binges on thousands of calories on chocolate, on burgers and fries, they are going to have a hard time actually staying consistent compared to the person that actually allows themselves to have it. So you said, like, especially on like the time of the month, hormones do change. However, that's not an excuse because for me, I still get my period, but I don't binge because I've gotten rid of my urges. So once you get rid of your urges and you stop depriving yourself from those foods, you are going to have way more control around it. Doesn't matter the time of the month. Again, if you're home alone, doesn't matter. Stephanie says, I think about food all day, and when I eat fast and a lot, and then I feel guilty. So this is exactly what binge eating is. This is exactly what it is. Constant food thoughts, eating so fast, hurry up before somebody walks in, right? Eating to the point where you're physically sick. It's like your body feels full and then your mind's like, keep going. One more bite, one more bite. Do you guys feel me? Let me know like a yes in the chat if you're like, yeah, I get that. This is binge eating. So Stephanie, if you've not joined the Root and Rewire membership yet, I would get your booty inside. The link is in my bio for all of you guys that are resonating with this. And you're like, I don't want to be thinking about food all day long. I don't want to eat until I'm physically sick. Like, I just want to eat when I'm hungry and stop when I'm full. Like, the membership, the Root and Rewire membership would be perfect for you because there's an entire training on how to stop thinking about food. There's an entire training on how to get out of the all or nothing mentality, how to stop emotional eating, how to still prioritize health and fitness goals while healing your relationship with food, what to do before, during, and after a binge, how to stop self-sabotage. Like, literally all of you guys need to be in the membership. It's the best place on the planet because I teach you how to rewire your brain out of these habitual cycles, but you also get a community of other people who get you. How many of you guys have somebody in your life that knows exactly what binge eating is? They've gone through it and they know what you mean when you say you're going through an out-of-body experience. Most people don't have somebody in their life that knows what binge eating is or have gone through binge eating, right? Like, you might be trying to explain to your partner and they're like, oh, it's okay if you overeat. And you're like, I'm not overeating. Or you tell a friend, you're like, I feel really guilty about eating certain foods. And they're like, oh, yeah, I feel guilty too. But you're like, no, like, I will think about this for the rest of the month, right? Like, you just feel like nobody gets you. When you join my community, everyone's going to get you and you're going to feel less alone. And that is what's going to expedite your process towards a binge-free life. Let's see here. I'm an emotional eater. How can you begin to navigate a restrict binge cycle? So what I would say is, so think about the name, right? Restrict binge cycle. So when it comes to the restrict binge cycle, the first thing that you need to do is you got to release the rules and you got to stop restricting, because the rules, whether it's obvious rules of like, I can't eat after 7 o'clock, or I can't have chocolate, or it could be some kind of like sneaky restrictions of like, oh, I'm allowing myself to have peanut butter, but like only 1 tablespoon. That's still a restriction. That's still a rule. So if you have any of those rules, that creates pressure in your body. So you start thinking about those foods so much more. When you tell yourself you can't have chocolate, what do you think about? Chocolate. When you tell yourself, I can't eat after dinner, what do you want to do after dinner? Eat. When you tell yourself, you can't have carbs with dinner, what are you going to think about the entire time that you're having protein and vegetables at dinner? You're going to think about carbs. So you've got to release the food rules, because the food rules is going to create pressure. You're going to be thinking about food so much more, and then you become super deprived. You feel these strong urges, right? Like this, I almost describe it like an animal almost like takes over your body, and you're feeling out of control, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I haven't had chocolate in so long. I feel so deprived. I just need a binge. And then you binge and you overeat and you feel completely out of control with food. And then what happens? There's fear. Oh my gosh, I'm going to gain so much weight. Oh my God, I need to get back on my diet. You create this new plan. And what do? You go back to restricting. You go back to your food rules, right? It's like, oh, I actually really got to get back on track tomorrow. And then next thing you know, you're back on the top of the cycle of restricting. Then you're going to feel deprived. Then you're going to binge because it's like you're so deprived. And then you're going to feel bad and you feel guilty. And then the restriction keeps repeating itself. So to get out of the diet binge cycle, you need to stop the food rules. You got to stop the restrictions. You got to get out of the all or nothing mentality and practice not giving into your urges. Really good question, because also the more times that you are in this restrict diet binge cycle, so the more times you restrict and the more times you binge, it creates a habit in the brain. And with any habit, like think of good habits, like making your bed or brushing your teeth. You don't have to think twice, and that's good. But also when it comes to a not so good habit, you're also an autopilot, and that needs to be rewired, right? It needs to be rewired. And that's exactly, like I said, why I created the Root and Rewire membership, to help you rewire your brain out of these habitual cycles. So hopefully this was helpful, Jace. I struggle real bad with binge eating, and I listen to your videos, but can't stop thinking about food. How can I stop thinking about eating all the time? So can I give you guys like a heart to heart? Drop a yes if that's cool. Like if you want an honest answer, drop a yes in the chat below. What I will say is this. Watching my videos is fantastic, and you guys are all amazing. But watching TikTok videos is not going to transform your relationship with food. It will help. This is why I do it. I literally show up every single day for you guys, because I want to give you guys the tools. I want to help you have a better relationship with food. But learning tools is very different than implementing tools and feeling seen and feeling understood and having a community, right? So even for myself on my journey, like I started learning a lot of the tools, but I'm like, but why am I still binging? And because I still had, I still needed to change my thoughts. I still had a love-hate relationship with binging. And I was like, I don't know if I want to give it up. I felt like I was alone. I felt broken. I felt like nobody understood me. And when you're trying to figure out how to do this on your own, it feels so isolating. It feels like no one else gets me. And again, this is why I created the community. So if you are struggling with binge eating and you're like, okay, I'm watching, like I know what to do, but like, why am I still binging, or why am I not still thinking about food? You need to have a proper support system. This is why I recommend the membership. Great place to start. You got to learn more tools. Like I don't share, obviously, like I can't share everything on my TikTok. They're only like a minute long videos. The trainings I have inside of my program, there's like 14 hours of trainings, actionable steps. Then you have the community to hold you accountable. Now, if you're thinking about eating all the time, it most likely is because there are food rules. So again, like if you're thinking about food all day long, you're probably trying to be perfect with your diet. If you're thinking about food a lot, you're probably not honoring your hunger. So let's say it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you're like, well, I just ate lunch at 12. So like, why do I want something to eat? It's 1 o'clock. Like I shouldn't be hungry. So you're like, I'm just not going to eat. I'm going to push it off. Well, then what are you going to do from 1 o'clock until 5 o'clock? You're going to be thinking about food. if you aren't confident with your decisions with food and you are choosing the lowest calorie option, you're going to be thinking about food. Because how often are you like, I really want ice cream, but I'm just going to have some yogurt. And then you have the yogurt, and all you're thinking about is what you really want, the ice cream. Have you guys experienced that before? Drop a me in the chat if you're like, yes, I've experienced that. Or you're like, I really want chocolate, but like I need to do well, I need to eat healthy. And then you go for like blueberries. And although blueberries might be really good, you're like, I don't want blueberries. Like, I want the chocolate, right? And then that's what makes you think about food. So if you're not owning your food choices, you're not honoring your hunger, those are all things that are going to cause you to think about food so much more. And this is why it's so important to honor your hunger, to own your food choices, to not worry about what other people are going to say about how much you're eating or what you're eating. It doesn't matter if your friend's going to order a salad. If you want the burger, go for the burger. It doesn't matter if your partner isn't eating a snack and you're hungry and you want a snack, you own that shit. You own it. You own it. So important. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, drop your questions in the chat, you guys. I'm just scrolling because when there's a bunch of comments, I just need to scroll a little bit. Let me see here. How to know the difference between being hungry and bored. So if you need to ask yourself, so this is a really good, I was telling my clients this the other day. If you need to ask yourself, should I eat something? You're probably not hungry. When you're hungry, you know. You don't have to ask yourself, should I eat right now? You're like, I need food, right? So like at 9 o'clock at night, you're putting on Netflix and you're chilling and you're like, should I eat something? And you don't really even know what you want. That is boredom. If you know what you want, if you want something specific, that's a craving. Ooh, I really want popcorn, craving. Ooh, I really want a bowl of ice cream, craving. Ooh, I really want some toast with peanut butter and banana, craving. It's something specific, it's a craving. If you don't know what you're wanting and you're like just finding yourself like, what should I have? You're like in the cupboards and you're like kind of going back and forth and you're like, I don't really know what I feel like. You're probably not hungry. Now, hunger, again, like I said, it's typically physical. So you might feel like your stomach growling. You might feel like a little fatigued or maybe lightheaded. Obviously, you don't need to feel like you're gonna pass out if you need to eat. I'm not saying that. But for me, like I feel like this emptiness in my body. And I don't have to ask myself, like, am I hungry? Like I just know. You know what I mean? Like again, if you're like kind of going back and forth in your mind, like, I don't know what I want, it's probably boredom. Okay. How do I find your program? I'm still figuring out TikTok. Hey, Mandy. I think it's Mandy. So you can go to the link in my bio. You can go to the link in my bio and you can also message me on my Instagram. That's where I respond to all messages if you're interested in working with me. I have a few different options in terms of programs, how I can support you. So you can just message me on my Instagram. That's the best place. You guys can actually just do that right now. And then as soon as I get off the live, I will go back on Instagram and I will respond to your inquiries, depending on obviously which program you want to join. Okay, good question. Do people binge for totally different reasons? Mine is to feel safe. It's incredibly comforting. Binge eating is comforting. It makes you feel safe. And it gives you a boost of dopamine. It gives you pleasure. And if you're not experiencing a lot of pleasure in your life right now, food is most likely the main source of pleasure and joy in your life. Back in 2018, when I was binging almost every single day, I had zero pleasure in my life because I felt horrible in my body. So I never wanted to go out and see people. I would isolate myself. I never wanted to be intimate with my husband. I just felt so gross. I felt so disgusting. And I didn't realize that me not showing up to social events was me blocking myself from experiencing pleasure. Me not being intimate with my partner, my husband, was me blocking myself from experiencing pleasure. So pleasure is a basic human need. And if you're not getting it through healthy ways, through friendships, connection, laughter, being intimate, all these other things, it's like come the end of the day, your brain needs pleasure. It's a basic human need. And food's always going to be there for you. Food's your only source of pleasure. It is comforting, right? But when you start to go out and you allow yourself to have fun and you start living your life and you start experiencing more pleasure in your life, food isn't going to be your only source of joy because you're meeting your needs in a healthy way, right? So, yeah, food is still pleasurable, but it's not the only source of pleasure in your life. All right. All right, maybe I'll answer one more question. If you guys want to drop anything else in the chat, I will answer just maybe one more question before I pop off. Again, anything specific to binge eating, your relationship with food? Oh, thank you for that nice comment. Hey, Taryn. So somebody said, I eat when hey, Nay, I eat when I'm stressed, but I don't know how to stop. And then I feel guilty after. This is where you need to learn how to process, cope, and manage your emotions. When you know how to process, cope, and manage your emotions, you can be super stressed out and not binge. So I used to think that I binged due to stress because every time I felt stressed, I would go eat. But now, to this day, I still have stressful days in my life. But why don't I binge? Because I've gotten rid of my urges. Because I know how to process and cope and manage my emotions. I feel my emotions. Now, this doesn't mean it doesn't have to be a crazy process. Like having check-ins throughout the day is so important because so often you don't even ask yourself how you're feeling. And then come the end of the day, it's like your stress levels are so high and it's like you don't even want to do anything else. You just want to mentally check out. But if you checked in with yourself throughout the day and you started to recognize, hey, I'm feeling emotional, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling sad, even just the pure awareness of labeling and naming an emotion of how you're feeling. I'm feeling sad right now. That step in and of itself, awareness, is allowing you to even just feel for a moment. Oh, noticing. Okay, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling bored. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling emotional. Right? Breath work is something that I do with my clients. I'm also a certified breath work facilitator, and breath work is one of the most powerful ways to help reduce stress and anxiety, become less impulsive with food, help you to actually get into your body so you can start feeling. So I do that with my clients as well too. Breath work is incredible to just process your emotions without turning to food. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. Again, if you guys are interested in working with me and getting some support, you're ready to stop your binge eating, the Root and Rewire membership is really the place to be. If you're new in my world and you're like, what do I join? The Root and Rewire membership would be the best place to join because you learn all the tools to rewire your brain out of these habitual cycles. You get coaching with me on a monthly basis, just like this, and you also get to be part of a community of other people who get you, and that will transform your relationship with food far faster than any tool ever will. So if you're ready for that, you can just message me membership on my Instagram and I'll go and send you all the details. So thank you guys so much. Have an amazing rest of your night and we'll see you guys soon.